go. When you had the answer and you were there alone, you left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more. Give it up, give it up, give it away. While you were barely aware, you learned that day. Cut off so much, hardly remained. While you knew that there was still a way. This is your only plan. Oh, now this is your only. Now this is your only plan. Oh, now this is yours. And you're right. You force it to yield. You forge it to the lines. You let your callous be your shield, and everyone will say that it all was finished years ago, but you will stay, and you won't ever let it go. When you had the answer and you were there alone, you left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more. Then again you found the answer and you were there alone. You left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more. When you had the answer and you were there alone, you left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more. Then again you found the answer and you were there alone. You left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more.
You never stop calling me crazy, but you the one that's fucking crazy. And it's time for me to run. Yeah, it's time for me to go. I will stick around for you. Around for you to play all of my life away. Trigger with your promises that
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to BOL Gold. I am Redacted, joined tonight by Dory K as my color caster here for Game 1, and we are already live into the picks and bans for Glacial Commando against DZG Elysium. And these bans are coming in pretty quick here, Dory. It looks like both teams are ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Renekton bans coming out, even though it is patch day, people want to talk about how in the world's patch Renekton is did receive a nerf today. I don't think it's anywhere close to enough to justify not banning him anymore. Definitely losing some MR is not that. But Briar, I've been seeing some mixed things on. I think the champion Snowball is out of control if she wins the stat check, but it's kind of hard for her to win a stat check when she has to W through a Talia minefield to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, Briar's still a pretty good pick right now. It's pretty can be a pretty dangerous champion in the right hands, of course, right? Especially with that ultimate there that lets her basically nocturne ult to her enemy as soon as it lands. But you have to be very particular when launching that, because I mean, it does move kind of slow. Have you seen it? It's like it's like a super slow Ash arrow. It's kind of funny sometimes.
I like to imagine like the Jaws theme just playing as it approaches.
That is actually very funny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I don't actually know if Briar got played in Masters Division on Monday, but if it wasn't, then this is the first one. At least it's definitely the first one that's going to be on stream as far as I'm aware. And Glacial Commando's comp is actually looking pretty interesting. The Annie flex pick, I mean, they see Jace, so I don't think they necessarily have to. Jace does have flex options into both solo lanes, but I actually might have to defer to chat on that one because I'm not sure how Annie versus Jace would go if it is a mid lane matchup. I do believe Talia outranges Annie though. It's kind of hard for her to pull her full combo.
Yeah, and you know, just based off these picks that we have in the first phase here, Dory, what do you think both teams are going to look to ban out here in the second phase? Obviously, we see the Jax being banned for DZG. What do you think they're going to look to ban next based off these picks?
Yeah, I mean, strong blind picks are really dangerous, and seeing a Blitzcrank ban actually makes me inclined to feel like it's Annie. That, or they're just trying to ban particularly strong champions with Kai'Sa. Vayne is a pretty low-range champion, so it does make Blitzcrank viable. And the nature of how her dash works makes it so like her dash doesn't complete until she finishes the roll. It's weird, but Blitzcrank is pretty strong into Vayne because of that. And then seeing again two very strong blind pick top laners getting taken off the table makes a lot of sense to me. It makes me feel like it might be a Jace, or they're trying to go for a blind R4 here. Or a blind top R4.
Gotcha. Yeah. And oops, excuse me. That sounds good. Got a little something in my throat trying to talk. Yeah, as we see both teams prioritizing which lane they want to deny. Top lane for DZG, the support for Glacial Commando. Here we now await that R4 pick. Let's see if they do select something in the top lane. And it's actually going to be a support there, Dory. So they really are actually going to save that last pick for counter pick for top lane, since, you know,
I guess
Glacial will have the last two picks here. So what do you think Glacial are looking for particularly, since they are pretty much have all their squishy champs damaged?
I mean, it looks like their composition... I don't know, man. Their composition doesn't make a lot of sense to me. When they picked Vayne doesn't make sense to me. Mordekaiser... I guess Mordekaiser here. I mean, you're playing Mordekaiser into either Jace or a counter pick, which does not bode well for you. So I feel like it's gotta just be comfort for Atomic Rider here. That, or they've got somebody that's cooking Mordekaiser jungle, but I don't know about BOL Gold, but BOL Silver, that Mordekaiser jungle thing just ain't working anymore.
Yeah. I didn't even know that Mordekaiser jungle was still a thing, actually. Oh, wow. And you're right about the flex Annie. I didn't know that was all still being flexed, by the way. So, yeah, Annie support and Orianna should be in the mid lane. I mean, there is Orianna support that was like in season 6 and 5, though. So I don't know if that's still a thing anymore, but highly unlikely we're going to see Orianna in the support role. So Annie Vayne in the bot lane here as we await that final pick here from DZG. Elysium locking in the Fiora actually to counter the Mordekaiser. So it looks like DZG looking for that 4-1 or 1-3-3 or 1-1-3 split, 1-3-1 split. There we go.
Yeah, a 1-3-1 setup. This is a really consistent 1-3-1 setup as well. Nautilus provides engage and disengage from his kit. Talia is impossible to walk through, and she provides a ton of wave clear. Kai'Sa, she goes static shiv still. Totally viable build still. Is really powerful, and with two major AD threats, she's capable of going the AP route. I think DZG's composition is super balanced and pretty well constructed. I think Glacial...
Say it with your chest. Just say it.
Glacial is picking full comfort. I think they're picking full comfort. I feel like I want to believe in Titan Duff here, that Titan Duff is a well-practiced Briar. I'm going to end up looking him up in between lobby and the game starting so that we can be aware.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna say more.
Oh no, I
kind of just
the unfortunate part of having to produce and cast is sometimes I have to click buttons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
my
fault.
And then I
my
space
fault.
out. I space out. I'm like,
oh no, you're
so
fine. I
so,
can pick up from here unless you.
Yeah. So I guess something neat would be like, I wonder if Orianna can put her ball on Briar when she's doing like a drive-by. You've got Briar just like hit somebody, right? Like watch like she like flies by and you just toss the ball on and press R as she's like soaring towards like if Glacial somehow makes it happen, then I will forgive them for every drafting sin that they've committed during this draft. Otherwise I don't know. I think it's all comfort, and I think Glacial's gonna have to outhands DZG Elysium. I think DZG Elysium did a fantastic job with their draft this game.
Yeah, I actually agree. Glacial's draft currently looks a little bit all over the place, but let's be real, this is BOL Gold. And with the different elos now, the added elo of Emerald, from what I've heard, because as if some people are familiar, I haven't been casting in a while, but I have heard and still kept my pulse on the league scene, and I've been told that like the elos have been kind of inflated or deflated per se. Like silver players are now the new gold and whatnot. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is the level of play we might see might be a little rambunctious per se. So
Yeah.
you know, Glacial Commando could definitely pull off a very surprising victory based off their draft, just because. You never know how these players are going to pilot these champions here, but both of these teams are in the top of their standings. DZG Elysium currently undefeated, 3-0, only one game lost, and Glacial Commando 2-1, 5-3 match record or game record as well. So I'm expecting to see a pretty good matchup here today, just because they are like our top three teams.
Yeah, both teams are performing incredibly well. I am really hyped to see how the Briar does in competitive play, especially because I've been getting and they messed something up in the draft. So we're gonna continue our talk, and we'll be fine. We're just gonna go to break, and the break might be a little longer, but it gives us time to try. It gives us time to try to figure out what the hell Glacial Commandos is cooking here.
For sure.
Annie Vane. Annie provides point-and-click guaranteed CC with which you can layer Condemn off of. It does offer a range advantage. Annie has one of the highest auto-attack ranges in the game, so Annie's able to auto the wave and get
Is she
priority.
really?
Yeah, Annie's got a really long auto-attack range.
Hilarious.
Her auto-attacks don't do anything, but but she can auto-attack Nautilus a whole bunch, and he can't really auto her back if she's going through the wave. So at level 6, obviously, she's at risk, but she's able to counter-engage with the Tibbers in her passive. And again, Vayne, like, in a weird way, Vayne, like, has the capability to be able to take these trades if she's able to, like, layer CC with Annie. And I think that's the biggest benefit of the lane, especially if it's an Arya, like, comfort pick going for the Annie. Annie can be oppressive if you're not like prepared to deal with it, and that seems to be a lot of this draft. Is a lot of stuff you haven't seen in a while just being kind of off the wall.
Yeah, for sure. But that also begs the question, has Glacial Commando also practiced with their draft as well, right? Because yeah, you know, DZG may not have seen these picks in a really long time, and it might just be like, okay, how do we maneuver around this? But if Glacial Commando can't get their combos off right, or has really bad team synergy trying to perform, then it's just going to be easy for DZG to respond and then punish Glacial Commando. So my question for you, Dory, is what do you think each composition does well and what they can't do? Let's start with DZG, because we've been talking about Glacial for quite a bit.
Okay. DZG is able to split the map up really well. They have even distribution across lanes, having that strong 1-3-1 capability. And I think that Fiora and Jace both have favorable matchups in a side lane that they can take advantage of. So I think DZG is able to pick games apart like that, and having semi-global access with Talia and then high movement speed with Jace's passive and acceleration gate will make it so that they are able to collapse on team fights efficiently. And because of the nature of Glacial Commando's comp, I do think DZG has a slight advantage in team fights as well.
All right. Awesome. Then did you say about Glacial Commando, or did you just kind of interweave both of them in the same composition?
I think I kind of interweaved it, but
okay.
Glacial Commando, what's cool is Briar and Talia are both junglers with semi-global ultimates that Briar's might as well be global at this point.
Yeah.
And so side lane access is powerful for both of them, and I do think Glacial Commando can deal with DZG's 1-3-1 efficiently if Titan Duff is capable of utilizing that ultimate well.
Okay.
So like I think DZG Elysium has a more balanced and more traditional composition, but the more we talk about it, the more I think Glacial's comp can do things.
Can do things for sure. It's all about actually making it happen. So I guess my last question for you here, Dory, before we go to a short break, will be who takes game one, and what will be the reason why the other team loses? Let's ask it like that.
Like, the part of me that coaches a team in IBS wants to lean on the team that drafted something more consistent and stable is going to win, and the one that drafted the better bot lane is going to win. But, like, the chaotic evil in me, like the devil on my right shoulder, is just saying, please vote for Glacial. The Briar's going to pop off. Briar's broken. And, like, I don't know. I'm going to have to say DZG, though.
Okay. No, that's very fair. I'm also gonna go with DZG just right now because I know their org. I don't know Glacial Commando, so that's caster bias. But anyway, if you have no other thoughts, Dory, we can cut to a short break as we prepare for game one. Everyone, please stay tuned as we'll be right back.
Yeah, and oh right, obligatory shout out. Yo, Bully, obligatory shout out. These streams are sponsored by Coachify.gg. If you want to up your game, head over to the Coachify.gg website and get yourself some commission-free coaching. All of the proceeds go straight to the coaches themselves. You can pair up with a coach that specializes in exactly what you need, and if you want to become a verified coach, you can head over there and get it done. So without further ado, now we can do the takeaway redacted. Sorry for being a shill for a moment there.
Oh no, you're fine. All right, guys, we'll be back. Stay tuned. of BOL Gold. It is DZG Elysium on the red side against Glacial Commando on the blue side. And Dory, something I like to do is always ask about summoner spells and runes. Does anything look interesting, weird, out of the ordinary? And just your thoughts and analysis on those
Yeah, I think
runes.
um I'm not sure what Fiora players are doing nowadays, but I do appreciate
Yeah.
seeing the early fleet footwork. It kind of indicates that even if the lane matchup is favorable towards Fiora, he is just aiming to get out of lane and get to that point where his rune choice isn't going to be a huge deal. It does offer that additional sustain, which is pretty cool. And yeah, Photography Raptor going for Hail Blades, which probably indicates that it's going to be a burst-specific build. It's going to be focused on getting your combo off, spamming W, which means AP, which I'm glad they're doing. I like that in the draft. And then finally, I think Annie going for Electrocute is early game priority rune. So I think Annie's going to be aiming for those early roams, or so I'm expecting to see early boot. Maybe. That's a nice ward there. If it sees them.
Yeah, it is a nice word. And
does.
yes, DZG, yep, will have the information of where the Glacial Commando jungler has started now. So they should have an idea of what their pathing route for the Briar will be at this time. So, Dory, let's talk early game, since obviously that's where we are right now. What do you think both teams are going to look for and try and prioritize?
Well, it looks like one jungler is going for a full clear route. We see Titan Duff going for actually that Raptor start, which is pretty cool. I'm not really sure of how, as we see a little trade going down, Spread Them Cheeks is still level 1. But nothing's going to come of it, I think, maybe? Okay, cool. Anyways, 3 camp actually into bot here. Let's see if Titan Duff gets spotted. They're going to actually walk over. Something might happen down here.
Some pink coming out. I need water, please. Using the dredge line there. Doesn't connect onto the wall. The chilling scream into the stun. First blood for Glacial Commando. Now Kryptonic Killer on the retreat. Knocked back with the worked and ground there from Technics. And this Orianna flashes away, but the Talia in tow as well. And that's another kill on the board. 1 for 1 across the map for both teams.
That is a bloody start to the game. Well, I don't have to talk about the predictions there. I get to know. So, the 3 camp into bot, really cool. The immediate roam from DZG Derek is also pretty clever there. I do appreciate that they're covering the vertical jungling attempt coming from. Oh, and we got a pause coming out.
We have a pause. It looks like the Sordid Dagger disconnected. So just waiting for him to get reconnected. But yeah, while we have this pause time, I do believe you were in the middle of a statement there before we had some action, Dory. So if you want to talk about it now.
Yeah, yeah, Briar going for 3 camp into bot lane there. I was honestly expecting a full clear. I wasn't sure if Briar has like super powerful early game, but I guess she does. That was pretty solid setup, and I do appreciate that Rick's Aria went for the Electrocute. Going for that early burst is definitely helpful in the kill. I'm not sure if it was 100% needed, but I think that that insurance is definitely valuable, especially given how they're going to play this game out. They're trying to be aggressive early. So yeah, making that vertical jungle attempt actually is pretty interesting to me, because Talia kind of mirrored the clear. And after both junglers ganked, I get that the closest path is to immediately go for the vertical, but Talia's path also is going to head towards blue, so the skirmish coming from that, I think would still favor DZG Derek, since Arya used their flash.
Yeah, but currently at this time, and oh yeah, the Talia also has the kill. So I mean, we've seen what a Talia can do if she snowballs ahead, especially in the early game. And now Kryptonic Killer there will have to play a bit more carefully as his flash is blown. So we might see a repeat gank there from Technics on the red side there. And yeah, with DZG Derek already having that assist, that longsword. It's just going to be that much more annoying with the poke coming out, because I'm sure what's up next is the lethality item. Oh my god, I forgot what it's called.
What's up next? The lethality item.
The dirk, serrated dirk.
Yeah,
Thank
serrated
you.
dirk. Yep.
I was
The
like,
component
what is that?
item. Yes.
The component item.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that thing called? It looks like a tooth, a sawtooth.
For
It
sure.
looks like we are unpaused though, so back into the action here.
That trade that was going on, probably not going to lead to any kills, but Fiora is lucky. Spread Them Cheeks is lucky that he gave him that. I honestly just want to say his summoner name.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because when I was looking at the rosters, I was just like, wow, this name was really allowed. Okay.
Did you
Okay,
also
bully.
get a little freeze frame? There we go.
Yeah, I did.
All right, cool. And 45, 46. Sick. All right, we're back. Mordekaiser getting a losing trade here. This might be an all-in, so go ahead.
Yeah, all in, but Spread Them Cheeks. They're using the parry. Mordekaiser will have to flash away. Flash followed as well from the Fiora, and that will be the takedown for the DZG top laner.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly part of why this matchup is pretty Fiora favored. She's able to chase him down. It's really easy to hit your stacks. He's a really large champion and an HP stacker, which favors Fiora, especially if she goes for the Divine Sunder build. And yeah. At the same time, mid lane, I'm not really sure where Orianna stands in the meta right now. I know she did receive a Worlds Patch buff, but I do also know that Jace has been a pretty powerful AD mid-top flex lately.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure quite yet how much of an impact that has, but either way, the matchup is already skewed by that level 3 gank.
And look at what I said. Technics was looking for a potential gank there onto mid lane, but Titan Duff was also here as well, able to cover for his mid laner. So the Orianna will be a-okay for the time being, as the DZG jungler did take quite a bit of damage here. So we'll just back off for the time being. And there looks like Glacial Commando is somewhat aware of where the DZG jungler is, because you saw the pings coming out on the minimap. So just having that information is useful for comms.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we actually see where the Talia's clear has headed to, she is just only one camp ahead in terms of momentum, but Briar actually has higher CS right now.
Ooh, is the engage from... Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. Sorted, almost taken out there from the Kaiser W, but it's not enough to burst them down just yet. Looks like Photography Raptor was looking for the potential flash Q, but Vayne, of course, playing back and just going to have to play really safe. I just noticed Kaiser has exhaust as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely really smart for them.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, actually. Like, Vayne and Briar just can't do anything into an exhaust here. So that's incredibly valuable. Vayne basically isn't a champion during the duration, so as we see Titan Duff making the clear, we remember that these guys' clear paths do mirror each other, so they're going to go for the same ganks they had at the beginning of the game, it looks like.
Yeah, and there we go. Once again, Technics looking to punish that flashless Orianna. They are hovering the mid lane. There is an engage coming down. DZG flashing forward and knocks the Ori back, and they get the kill literally about 10 to 15 seconds before the Ori's flash is back. And I Need Water will just flash away there from the Briar, who almost stuck him into that wall.
Yeah, Briar actually being forced to burn her ghost here. Technic's gonna be hitting this flash coming back up here soon as well. But again, the Briar actually getting decent farm, but Technics is impacting the map ever so slightly more. We'll see what comes of it though, because this bot lane being without flash on Nautilus may help out a little bit in setting up a successful kill into a dragon rotation here.
Yeah, so I would hold on that second as the dredge line connects once again. Kathy and Rain to take out the Vayne sworded dagger has become a dull blade instead. Annie now on the retreat, and DZG are continuing to expound upon their gold lead here. That's exactly the next point I was going to get into, Dory. As we take a look at the gold, it's just, let's take a look at it actually and see where it's all distributed.
Yeah, so it's looking like 400 of it is actually on that Talia now. Despite being down a camp, that kill participation, the extra kill, is definitely helping out, and maybe the value of the camps are a little bit better. As for bot lane, that's a big problem, as the dragon just gets taken without directed cam even bothering to go over there. It was that uncontested.
Can we
yeah.
talk about how Annie has more gold than the Nautilus? Oh, but Annie has a kill. There we go. That's why I was like, wait a minute. But she has no CS.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the nature of her being in a range versus melee matchup as well, and going for the Spelty Sedge. As Atomic Rider actually gets really low, this Fiora finally gets a
Oh,
parry.
spread them cheeks with the parry. The grand challenge has been issued underneath the tower, and that is another takedown for the Fiora. 2-0 for the DZG top.
All right. And that actually swings the gold difference much more in Fiora's favor. This could be a very problematic lane. And this honestly
it
is the
already
biggest alarm
is.
bell. Yeah, yeah. This is alarm bells going off in my head if I am
same.
Technic, or
Agreed.
if I'm Titan Duff.
If I'm Glacial Commando, alarm bells are going off in my head because honestly, based off their team composition, like sure the Ori scales, the Mordekaiser scales, but like Briar and I would say the bot lane of Glacial Commando, they want to try and really accelerate in the early game. You know, try and get these kills funneled onto these champions. As hold that thought here, Ignite has been launched, flash is blown from both bot laners of Glacial Commando, but the Annie will not live to see another day. Another takedown for DZG here, and that was just such a clean gank.
Yeah, really solid use of the Weaver's Wall. Technics proving that Talia jungle is still in fact a thing. I don't actually know if Talia was in the patch notes, but he's definitely making it look like she was.
I forgot Talia jungle was a thing until I was like looking at their draft and I was like, wait, Talia jungle? Oh yeah, that one is a thing. Like, what happened to Rel? So that's what I was just thinking in my mind.
Oh yeah. I'm actually curious to see like what this patch does to the jungle. 'Cause I had heard that quite a few shakeups had happened. I mean, I don't know as though many people in BOL Gold will play Lee Sin, but I mean, Lee Sin was on that. Renekton might as well not have been a buff, or might as well have not been a nerf.
Dory, I gotta point out to you though, real quick, as we're seeing so many serrated Dirks. That is a lethality Kaisa. Is that a thing now?
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I've
is.
been gone for a while, so
I
what's
hate
the
it.
word on that?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
But tell me about it though.
Umbral Glaive. So Umbral Glaive is like a gold efficient item.
Uh-huh.
It's got a lot of utility, but it's really strong early stats. And going into a second serrated Dirk, I believe gives you early Q evolve. If I click on Kaisa, I'm pretty sure she already has it or
Yeah,
nearly
let's
has
take a
it.
look. She's at 92.6 out of 100,
Yeah.
so she's pretty close.
Yes. So as the flash comes out though.
Oh, flash dredge line from the Nautilus. The Kaiser with the killer instinct. They're looking for Sworded Dagger, exhaust, Kathian Rain to burst out the vein once again. Now, Arya on the retreat. That is a double kill, but Tibbers will not be able to take Photography Raptor out. So, that is a clean 2-0 for DZG, and what has become a small snowball has just grown bigger, and honestly it's not looking good for Glacial Commando.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely an awkward position to be in, and you know what, now that I actually think about it, we've had the time to like see what just happened and assess the situation. Kaisa never really has to deal with Mordekaiser this game, if I'm being honest. Like, even in team fights, Mordekaiser is probably going to be like Fiora's problem or like Jace's problem. But Talia actually going for the crown, but that means going for the lethality Kaisa actually isn't the worst thing in the world. Even though I'm not a fan of it, it's a really powerful 2-item spike. Isolated Q is incredibly strong, and 4 members, well, arguably 3 members of Glacial Commandos are really easy to just 100 to 0 with that Hail of Blades proc. So I can see it this game.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to seeing what a full build would look like, but I don't know if we'll get there, as Titan Duff did find the stun onto Technics here, who is on the retreat. Derek here to assist. Unraveled Earth will knock back the Briar, but Oh no, Glacial Commando caught between a rock and a hard place as DZG find one. Arya next on the menu. Kryptonic Killer with the shockwave though finds two. Not enough to burst out the Nautilus and Talia though, but Sordid Dagger did get the shutdown onto Photography Raptor on the bottom of the screen there. So that is some gold back into the side of Glacial Commando here.
Yeah, that was definitely an equalizing play that they needed. It is still an uphill battle. They are still 4K down. 3K down. I can't do math.
Quick maths.
It is
It's
4K.
head math.
Yeah,
Close
yeah.
enough.
I definitely have a degree, guys. Anyways,
So-
we've got a trade coming out top though. And no, we don't. Okay, we can continue talking. You see the setup for the Drake going on. Vision control a little bit in the favor of DZG, but admittedly, jungle entrances are still safe. That pixel brush is definitely the focal point though for this early vision battle.
Absolutely, and we see both teams, not proxying. I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. I'll finish that thought later. As the Annie has been knocked back, the ultimate from I Need Water, please. Void Seeker connects onto Sordid Dagger, almost bursting out the vein, and she will be taken out there by the Q from Talia, and that will be a Drake here for DZG. Will Glacial Commando contest? It doesn't look like it. And that is Drake number 2 for the side of DZG here.
Yeah, and this is kind of that 14-minute mark. Plates start going down. We start to see where these teams are going to allocate lane assignments. If DZG wants to utilize their lead the best way they can, we definitely want to see what happens in the next 5 minutes prior to this next Drake being a concern. They're up 2. They can put themselves on soul point if they play the map correctly and use their gold to their advantage here.
So, so far, a couple of things here, Dory. Wow, we have some downtime. Briar has the only mythic currently on the Glacial Commando side. We haven't seen much from the Briar as well, as Atomic Rider 36 will flash away. Grand Challenge will not complete. And we've got 3 mythics on the side of DZG Elysium here. I want to ask you, what mythic will the Kaisa go, and what do you think of the Talia Shattered Crown here?
Yeah.
I think it's a bit too defensive.
I think I agree. I am also not sure whether I prefer Ludens or Night Harvester or I don't think
Leandries?
At least
I don't know about Leandries.
We can probably rule out Leandries because again, the only champion that it's a concern for is kind of being dealt with by Fiora. She goes for the Divine Sunder, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But we're gonna actually have a pick here.
Oh boy, you know the game is going from bad to worse when the enemy just invades your jungle with no regard, and Rick's Arya will have to flash away. Unraveled Earth connects once again. Atomic Rider now on the retreat. The Q connects. Killer Instinct and DZG Elysium find another. That's 2-0 for them, and the gold lead has now been is now a gold difference of 6,000 gold. Sorry.
I don't appreciate seeing this guy Sabil do well.
I know. I'm finna go try it in solo queue tonight.
I shouldn't harp on it so much. I mean, it's
Wait,
good for
Photography Raptor missed the Void Seeker though. Oh, that was
wasn't
really
ready.
close. That was really close.
She definitely wasn't ready. Turns out Void Seeker is no longer the damage ability, as Rick's Arya gets picked off at the end of that. Oh, Titan!
Is that worth it, Titan? I mean, you get the shutdown, but you're still in a pretty bad predicament here. But I guess you gotta do something at this point to try and find gold across the map.
Yeah, we're looking at an all chat worth for that one there. Meanwhile, you just see people put up like the ×9 Briar. Why did we let them pick this crap champion in my solo queue game? It's funny because, like, how do you feel? I guess since we're in a pretty doomed position right now, a lot of it is going to be us just talking about how DZG uses their lead. It's more of their game to lose than it is a game to figure out who's going to win. So we've got 2 minutes on Drake. Stuff's going to happen, but how do you personally feel about Briar right now? Like, have you
Like
seen
this
the
Briar or Briar as a champion?
Briar's a champion. I don't know if Titan Duff is doing her justice right now. But.
So I have played a few solo queue games, and more often than not, Well, I'm in silver elo, so just that to clarify, so that way people understand where I'm at. But more often than not, the Briars I've seen have been trash. All right, I have seen 1 or 2 good ones. I haven't really seen her in higher elos. I haven't really watched a lot of streamers, so maybe I should. What do you have you seen her much in the higher elos and how they have piloted her? Because this Briar is not doing good, and honestly, if I was Titan Duff, I probably wouldn't play her again for game 2.
That's why I'm interested.
Yeah.
As he gets picked off, I don't know. Kryptonic Killer is gonna just go right down. We actually see double Dustblade. That's neat.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Titan is bad on this chap. I just don't think that what they drafted is really working out for them completely well. I think something else could have been way better here instead of the Briar.
Funny to me because I feel like she, at first I had this weird perception of her, because I thought she just like wasn't great because I thought that the mechanic where she doesn't have innate sustain would make it hard to play her, and people would do well on her in higher elo because I thought she'd have a higher skill cap. As she just completely ignores Photography Raptor walking right next to her.
Okay, got the stun there. That was pretty good. Another blood-curling scream will go wide, though. Certain death has been launched. The fear on Technics. The dredge line connects here. Glacial Commando looking for more. Briar already down, though. Sordid Dagger alone by themselves, going a bit too deep. And now DZG Derek looking for the Annie. As I did just realize Mordekaiser was in his ultimate. I was wondering why he walked right past him. Kryptonic Killer next on the menu. And it's gonna be a complete ace here for DZG Elysium. Are they tilted? That's tilted,
yeah,
right?
they're in a pretty doomed situation right
He
now.
walked into that though, like,
yeah.
why?
Tilt.
We saw the same thing, right?
Yeah, this is the kind of game where we need to assess what went wrong, what went right. There were like a couple highlights so far this game. They were able to make a few picks here and there, but they were just inconsistent. They were being rotated on early. DZG making good rotations this entire game. But anyways, as they settle into a 12,000 gold lead at 20 minutes, DZG is going to be looking to make the plays to end this game. And Briar, I think... oh yeah, the tangent I was going on. Right, Briar and solo queue. Turns out Briar's win rate goes down the higher elo you go.
That's hilarious, actually.
So, the perspective that was given to me by somebody recently that made me think about it a little more is that she's literally just a stat check champion, right? Like, she's not overly complicated.
Yeah.
And she wins by just, like, hitting you harder than you hit her so she heals and doesn't die.
That's funny.
And the nature of that is that, like, lower elo players will be more successful because they're able to abuse stuff like that. So
Each other, basically.
Yeah, so, like, I go from, like, Master Plus... Ooh! Bye-bye.
Now, imagine if she had Ludens. But I guess it doesn't even matter. Kaisa, you did not need to ult there, buddy. But who cares when you're literally, how much gold? 12,000 we said ahead?
Yeah.
Which is now increasing. DZG Elysium might just... I think they can end here if they really tried. But I don't think they're going to. Yeah, I figured.
My king for a Fiora TP to end the game. Anyways, so... if you shuffle to Master Plus, like super high elo, you're like 46% win rate on Briar, and then you just like shuffle it over to Platinum Plus, and then she's suddenly S Plus tier with a 52% win rate.
That's hilarious.
And it looks like most players are going like the whip items. Obviously, people have varying perceptions of what you should go, but all 3 builds have pretty much the same win rate. Conquer, Navori, on hit, Triforce, Lethality.
Someone should try Duskblade. Oh, you were just about to say that.
Yeah,
okay,
Lethality,
cool.
Duskblade's the other one. I mean, they're all out there, and I think people just like try to stat check with different stats. It's ultimately what it's feeling like. But yeah, it looks like Conquer is the most chosen rune. So I mean, at least they're going.
That makes sense. That does make sense for that rune based off how she plays. So. Yeah, I wonder though if like I wonder if anyone's tried like a tank item on here and then just build the rest damage items or something like Heartsteel.
Oh, you know what'd be so silly. It would be like, Prowler's Claw Jack Show or something.
Oh my! Wait, Prowler's Claw. You're actually cooking a little bit there. Think about it. Don't really think about it. I mean, she's. It's basically the way I see her is like she's an assassin jungler.
Yeah, she's an assassin.
And certain
so
death goes wide, but Rick's Arya's stun does not spread them cheeks. Burning will have to flash away, dashes as well. Briar though, Titan Duff. Berserk looking to chase down the Fiora, parries the Q, but not enough. The shutdown as Talia now flashes forward. Derek trying to take out the Mordekaiser, but the Void Seeker will instead. We didn't even talk about DZG getting the Baron.
No, it just kind of happened.
It really just. I just realized that. I was like, wait, they got Baron. Oh, I'm sorry.
And I mean, they're on Soul Point. They have the opportunity to end this game pretty much whenever they want. I think at this point it's just a matter of like ending carefully so that they don't throw their lead. Like they're not concerned.
How do you throw this?
Yeah, they're not super concerned about being outscaled. So I mean, like, not a big deal. The only way for Briar to come back into the game if she's not snowballing out of control and winning the stat check is to scale until the stats favor her if she's lucky at 6 items. But I mean, this bruiser thing, I think, yeah, the bruiser thing I don't think is the tech. If you're gonna do it, if it's a snowbally stat check champion,
Wow.
just
DZG are going for the legit textbook end here. Certain death will connect onto Derek, and the Briar actually goes in the feet. Okay, Shockwave though onto 2, not enough to chunk out Derek, and Photography Raptor and Glacial Commando have been near aced. Only Mordekaiser left standing, but we're already seeing the GGWPs in the chat here. They know game 1 is a wash. Back to the drawing board for Glacial Commando. Come back stronger in game 2.
Yeah, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Red side gonna take a pretty clean win. We saw it from draft. We saw it basically written on the walls that it was gonna go that way. And of course, the post game screen's not gonna come up. We're just gonna go to post game analyst desk. There we go. But analyst desk. All right. Hello.
Oh, did my
We're
camera
back.
freeze again?
It sure did. This is
All right.
Redacted's camera.
It should be unfreeze right now. There
Oh,
you go.
let's go!
Perfect.
All right, Redacted's back. Sweet. So, so game 1, I don't think anyone necessarily needs to see the post-game screen. If anyone's curious, Talia maxing damage at 22,509. I think that Technics played incredibly well and is definitely the catalyst of this team's early game. He bobbed off.
For sure.
I think all 5 players had their opportunities. I think Spread Them Cheeks looks worse on paper because he didn't really have to do anything. He just kind of existed for the game, and Mordekaiser eventually just died a lot too. Like Atomic Rider, unfortunately, was stuck between a rock and a hard place, got solo killed early, and then had a jungler that basically wasn't playing the game and didn't win their stat check, and the other 2 lanes were just being perma-ganked by Talia. I think the jungler was a huge impact on this game.
Absolutely, and once again, I don't think per se for Glacial Commando that picking Briar was their only fault. Like you said it during picks and bans, their draft is pretty much all over the place. Briar, as we know, is an early game jungler, so if you do that, you probably should pair her up with at least either a top laner or a mid laner that can synergize well with her, that also can get some early game kills. Talia, even though she is a slow jungler, you saw her setup with the Jace. It works pretty damn well. And Spread Them Cheeks just kept Atomic Rider 36 there in the top lane the entire time. He never had an opportunity to like really roam or teleport elsewhere because he was too busy just trying to stem the bleeding from that Fiora. And then of course, I Need Water and Photography Raptor, they're just doing work in the bot lane. So for Glacial Commando, I really want to see them pick a more cohesive draft for sure, because I think they had some thoughts there. It was just the execution and how you try and do that. And once again, I just don't think their draft worked well together. So
Yeah, I think having a more cohesive identity in your draft is definitely going to make a big difference here. I understand like thinking Briar is really broken, yada yada yada, and I think that you can incorporate a Briar-centric draft without making it look like this. I don't know if Sordid Dagger has champion pool issues. I'm hearing from a reliable source that Arya might not have liked the any. So I'd like to see them go back to the drawing board and pick a more cohesive draft identity. Because,
leak the sources.
Because if their composition had some kind of identity, they might have been able to like skirmish in the river. But the game right now is so heavily played around those river skirmishes. At least in our ELO bracket, the way we play.
Are you also gold?
Yeah, gold, silver, plat.
Okay,
plat.
A fellow low elo player.
We'll quote unquote plat. It's been a while. I'm kind of old. But yeah, I mean, with the limited knowledge I have of like what Briar even does, she's been out for one patch and 1 day now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard not to focus on the neat new toy, but I want to believe that Glacial Commando is going to come back swinging. They're going to have a better identity on red side. Although blue side draft I think is really powerful, I think red side has an easier. I think red side is easier to draft for when you're just kind of not sure what you want your comp to do, because you at least have the courtesy of getting a guaranteed counter pick. You get to counter something at some point. So they at very least can like identify like we're counter picking this lane next game and we're going to play around this lane, and if it doesn't work then I guess sucks to be us, but yeah.
Anyway, Dory, let's take a short break as we prepare for game 2. Everyone stay tuned. We'll see if Glacial Commando can bounce back and force a game 3, or we'll see if DZG Elysium will send us to our beds early for the night. We'll be right back.
I love to do just what I want. Do it when you say I won't. Now come and watch me move it. I promise I'ma make you lose it. Looking at me, now come get it. Like what you see, then you got good vision. Boy, this beat hits so different. Let me show you just wanna be free. Ain't no way you stopping me. Said I wanted to fly, so I went and got some wings. And I don't need you to act like you gon' hold me down, 'cause I won't believe you. No one can touch me now. Once a drum go dumb. Once a drum go dumb.
Those cravers backstabbed me, deceived me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Yeah, 7,000 souls scared and daunted. Such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Hold down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Yeah. I am the light bringer. Now listen, fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Whoa! 50 million souls.
For game 2 of BOL Gold, it's Glacial Commando against DZG Elysium. DZG Elysium now on the blue side. Glacial Commando has elected for the red, and we are pretty quick in our picks and bans here. And I'm with Romeo now. He was not able to join us for game 1, but he will be here for the rest of the night, potentially game 3. But we'll see, as we have our bans here and our picks coming in pretty quick here, Romeo. So what do you think Glacial Commando will respond with next?
Yeah, it's a complete rapid fire. It looks like they might be going with the Nyla. They do have to be a bit careful because I've been seeing the Tristana flexed a lot between that mid and ADC role. So by picking Nyla in the bot lane, you could very easily see a much more ranged ADC come in to counterpick that, throw Tristana to the mid lane if the matchup works for them, and then go from there. But yeah, Glacial needs to pull out something, of course. They're down 1-0. Another loss is going to send them home for the night, us all home for the night, if DZG is able to pick up that big 2-0 win. But they have opted to lock in the Nyla. It is, if that Tristana is a flex pick, I would be scared if I'm Glacial.
Yeah, absolutely. Tristana known for that rocket jump and bursting people out pretty quick there with that bomb. I feel like Nyla R1 is actually like really bold actually, because you don't know where the Tristana is going. So now DZG Elysium, like you said, can elect to send that to the mid lane and pick something else completely.
And it looks like now the Ziggs, if they lock in Ziggs, it's still interesting because I do believe Ziggs fares well into Nyla, and you can keep that flex pick rolling. Of course, the Tom Kench as well can kind of work as a flex pick between that support lane and the top lane. I don't really know how I feel about it as support unless it's paired with like a Senna or something. So it's right now I'm definitely favoring DZG Elysium's comp and not just because I play on a team called Elysium.
Yeah, so I hear about like the triangle in the bot lane, or not triangle that is, but like, you know, the way to beat ADCs in the bot lane is to just pick a mage. And Ziggs is probably one of the best mages to play in the bot lane here. So now we have the Alistar locked in, which could be, of course, the counter to that Tahm Kench unless it's being sent to the top lane. What I was gonna say before this last pick is locked in here is the Nyla. Like, I really like to pair Nyla with a champion that synergizes with her really well, like, you know, that gives some type of healing or shielding.
Yeah.
So the Tahm Kench is like, okay.
You see why. It makes sense. Tahm Kench has that good engage ability, also is able to pull them out of risky situations with that ultimate, but it's like, there were definitely better picks that could get paired with the Nyla, and right now, obviously, we could either see the Ziggs with the Alistar or the Tristana with the Alistar. From a perspective here, I kind of prefer to see the Ziggs into that Nyla just because it feels like you have the peel, the Alistar, and just knock them away and poke them all game. But I do have a feeling it's going to be that Tristana just because Ziggs is a little bit safer in that mid lane. Of course, Glacial opted to pick up that Urgot on the top lane. We're seeing the bans come out. The Poppy going to get banned away. The Trundle going to get banned away. Works both as top and jungle bans. These jungler picks, though, are going to make a big difference as we get to R4, R5, B4, B5. That can kind of determine, especially whether someone like Nyla is able to get into the game. And Sejuani gonna get picked up here. This is very reliant on this Nyla to get ahead in this draft.
Wait, Urgot is melee or ranged?
Melee.
He's melee now? I remember because of his shotgun knees, right? You know, like I can't remember if they designated him as melee or ranged, because there was like a beef with that with Rakan too, because I really like the bans that Glacial Commando did, especially the Poppy ban, because all these champions have some type of dash, or some type of movement that the Demacian standard there can block from entering. So steadfast present, that is. Anyway, Alawi locked in here for DZG Elysium, and wow, what do you think if they lock in that Nulu Willem here for their last pick?
It would have been ballsy. It would have been a very entertaining game. Is it best for their comp? No, I think the Amumu definitely fits a lot better. You were kind of lacking in CC up until the Amumu. Obviously, you have the Alistar. You have a couple knockups here and there with the Ziggs. But when you're running Tristana, you're running Alawi, you're forgoing a lot of that CC that other champions in the top lane, even the ADC role with someone like Ashe, have in their kits for a lot of damage. So the Amumu pickup's nice here. And on top of that, that passive's going to help Ziggs, especially if that Ziggs can find their way ahead. Malzahar is going to be the final pickup, though, for Glacial Commando. What do you think with the Malzahar pickup? Do you think the Ziggs is going to be going in that mid lane, or do you think it's going to be the Tristana?
Regardless of who's in the mid lane, build QSS. But I mean, it all depends on what DZG Elysium want to do, right? If you want to stomp the bot lane, honestly, I think either champion should be fine. But I would prefer the Ziggs in the bot lane if you really want to like stomp bot lane, just because of the bombs and everything like that, the poke harass that Nyla has. She's a melee champion. But regardless of what they send down there, I think DZG Elysium will be just fine. Nyla's gonna have a pretty tough time just because of the range that both of these champions have, though it might be a bit better for her if it's Tristana versus the Ziggs, because of just, you know, all the poke that, once again, Ziggs is going to lay out on her. And now she doesn't really have much extra like healing and shielding, right? Because of that passive of hers. So, because it's just Tahm Kench, and he doesn't really give you much besides the proxy he's going to have from his support item, and not until he gets his ultimate.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a really interesting synergy with Nyla and Tom. If they do send the Tristana to that bot lane, it's going to be, I think, a lot harder for DZG. I think no matter where you send Tristana, it's going to be a bad matchup.
I just saw a Twitch comment real quick. They said, imagine if they put Urgot jungle, Sedge support, and Tom top. Sedge support with the Nyla. I've seen that before. That was like a very brief thing, like what, 3 or 4, like 5 patches ago, right?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind sending Urgot to the jungle. I'd rather just see Sedge go top if they do that, though, because let's be real. When we're looking at the matchups here, Urgot's in a horrible matchup. You do not want to be this Urgot into an Alawi. I think it's a 54% win rate on U.GG. Alawi into Urgot, like Emerald Plus. That's, and of course, this is gold, but still, it's Alawi in gold. I don't like fighting Alawi ever, no matter who I'm playing, let alone a counter matchup. Like, this guy's gonna build Hallbreaker to run through you. So, like, I think maybe the Sejuani can have an easier time. I don't mind seeing that, but, like, when you look at the rest of these lanes, the Tom Kench and Nyla combo will be really good if Tristana's down there, because Tom can follow the rocket jump. But if they do opt to go Ziggs Alistar, I mean, Ziggs and Alistar don't have the best synergy in the world, but it's enough to keep Nyla away from Ziggs. Tristan in mid lane, though, will be where Glacial has to punish, because Trist against Malzahar still is not a very good matchup for Tristana.
Ooh, and I think we are right here. Well, so far, with the client draft being locked in, DZG Derek has locked in the Tristana mid lane, but they do have the opportunity to swap, I believe, up to 20 seconds. So I'm not going to confirm it fully just yet, but as of right now, for the Sejuani, once again, for Glacial Commando, like, this is kind of what I was talking about. Like, you got a Sedge jungle, and you didn't really pair her up with many champions that can really quickly stack those permafrost stacks besides the Nyla, which is in the bot lane. But you're mid and top, where you're going to spend a good portion of your time, unless you're really going to camp bot lane. Don't stack those procs for you as quickly. Malzahar, he's just going to poke and harass these the Tristana, or whoever the opposing mid laner is, because we don't know for sure yet, up until 6. So when he gets level 6, then he'll have for sure lockdown. And then same thing in the top lane, like Alawi into the Urgot. You already said it's going to be really hard for the Urgot, and now you just made it a bit harder because you can't really lock her down as quickly because you don't have the full synergy to get those permafrost stacks off. So we're gonna have to see Titan be really proactive and try and, like, just be really, I would say, darn near aggressive in the early game.
Yeah, it's rough. It is a little bit rough, like you said, especially for these Sejuani.
Or he camps bot lane, because both of those champions are melee.
What I was going to say is, when you look at Glacial Commando's comp, the commander of this team is going to be Nyla. If this Nyla falls behind, I have no hope for Glacial, because you have the Sejuani playing around them. You have the Malzahar, who's going to be able to stun maybe the Amumu from being able to get onto that Nyla to keep them healthy and not getting CC'd up. And then you have the Tom Kench, who's obviously going to be supporting them. The Urgot's going... if they don't win in the first 3 levels, I expect to see this Urgot maybe going around the map, trying to find plays in other lanes, because I don't think his lane's going to go too well for him if he's not winning those first 3 levels. And when the team fights come out, you're probably going to see Urgot trying to hold for his life in the side lane while Nyla attempts to run through this team. And that's what Glacial's going to need to do. All their efforts, I think, need to go into stabilizing top lane when you can, but mostly into that bot lane, getting that Nyla ahead so that they can have them as their commanding force when they go into the team fights. Without it, it's going to be a lost cause, and this series is going to go right over to DZG.
And, you know, it's still going to be really hard to deal with, Romeo, because you have the Amumu ultimate there. You have Alistar knocking you back as well. Ziggs knocking you back. Tristana can blow you back. Like, it's going to be really hard for this Nyla to get in. So, yeah, I agree. You know what? Yeah, forget all the other lanes. Go full tent on the bot lane.
You have to. You absolutely have to. I want the campfire set up. I want you to get the SpongeBob crew out to sing the song. It needs. You bring the marshmallows. You're not leaving. All your income's going to that bot lane. It absolutely has to.
Yeah, but we'll see if we're wrong or not here, because before we cut to a short break, let me ask you real quick, Romeo. I pretty much know your answer. We're both in favor right now of DZG winning game 2, but by the off chance, do you think Glacial Commando have a chance, or
is it possible? Absolutely, anything's possible, especially here in Blue Water Gold. That's what makes this league so fun to watch. Anything can happen. Do they have a comp that by itself is a winnable comp? Absolutely.
Can Glacial Commando pull it off, though?
That's the question. And you know what would make them guaranteed to pull it off? I bet you if they're using our sponsor for today's stream, and they'd be able to pull it off easily.
Hey, who's that?
Well, of course, Blue Otter League Season 10 is sponsored by Coachify.gg. Coachify is a new platform for esports coaches with 0 commissions. Sign up is free, and anyone can create a public profile. For more information, type !Coachify in chat now. Get your coaching and climb some ranks.
Nah, man. And with that, y'all, we're going to take a short break as we prepare for Game 2 DZG Elysium. I was going to say Commandos. DZG Elysium versus Glacial Commandos. We'll be right back, so stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Blue Otter League Gold. It's Game 2, DZG Elysium on the blue side against Glacial Commando on the red side. We're seeing a bunch of pings here that Nyla has cleansed. So at least she can cleanse out either the Amumu lockdown or the Alistar stun. But it's only going to work once, and it's still on a timer. So besides that summoner spell, Romeo, any other summoner spells or runes that look interesting or non-standard to you, or does everything else look pretty decent as we see this five champ stack?
What I like coming out of DZG here is the double TP coming from Ziggs and Tristana here. Although we got 2 flashes. Ziggs gonna flash, Tom Kent's gonna flash. Who's gonna get punished from that? That's gonna be interesting. I definitely think it's a little bit of a better flash trade for Glacial. I think I'd rather have my flash on Ziggs than I would on Tom.
Yep.
So great flash from Reichs being able to scout out the Ziggs there. But yeah, Ziggs is gonna have that TP, right? So if Nyla gets an engage on them, it could be a little bit difficult. But also, you look at it, and if he's taking a ton of damage, leaves the fight, he can TP back to lane. And what I also think is really nice with this is if Tristana and Ziggs ever want to switch lanes, especially when that level 6 comes, you could see that. We could see Tristana hit level 6 and then go bot lane so that they have the knockback ability when fighting Nyla. And then Ziggs will have an easier time against that Malzahar when the Malzahar hits 6 because they're able to stay out of that stun range.
Absolutely. So yeah, I really do like yeah, you make a really great point. Wow, I wonder if DZG Elysium's got their coach from Coachify or something. As we see as we see Photography Raptor there standing pretty forward in that lane. He does have to be mindful of the whip there from Sordid Dagger. That Q there does give her a bit of some extra range to spread them cheeks, laying the tentacles down onto that Urgot there. But as of right now, let's just take a look at the jungle pathing. And so go ahead.
Sejuani, weird pathing in a way. Like they did go straight for the 3 camp. I'm not necessarily sure how I feel about that, because if this gank bot doesn't go well, it's going to be a really rough game for Titan Duff. Of course, they were trying to get to that bot lane as quick as possible, but Amumu did the reverse 3 camp here. They have the option to back if they need to. There's no ward spot on them out, and they get there first, but are they going to see Sejuani in time? It does look like Sejuani was spotted on a ward, but this Amumu is still going to back. Oh no, the back's been canceled. They've scouted Sejuani coming around. This could be really, really rough for Glacial here.
Okay, here we go. DZG Elysium preparing for this engage. Photographer Raptor knocked up by Rix Arya there, but the first bandage toss goes wide from Technics. They're flashing onto the Ziggs, trying to lock him down. First blood for the Nyla, and Glacial Commando get another here, but they're both on the damn catfish.
That was a play of all time.
That hurts.
I'm a little bit upset because I think the idea for DZG there was right. However, they tried to bait the Tahm Kench and ended up both taking the knock-up. Bandage toss. Like, if there was ever a worst case scenario for DZG in that fight, it happened. Every negative effect in this timeline that could happen. The worst possible ability, the one timeline they lose was that one. They won in 900 timelines, but lost in that one, and it happened to be that one. That's gotta sting a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But once again, the saving grace is that Rix Arya KS'd Sordid Dagger there and took both the kills. We literally said you need to spoon feed this Nyla here, particularly in the early game, if Glacial Commando want to stand a chance, right? And right now, Tahm Kench has all the gold. So I want to see Rix Arya keep their hands off their keyboard there and let the Nyla auto attack those last couple of kills next time if they can.
Yeah, of course it was a big fight. There's a lot happening on that screen. You don't want them to get away. Is it rough? Both kills went to Tahm Kench. Yes. However, if he's able to finish that mythic item early on, it could have some benefits. Of course, support mythic rush was a thing at a time. it existed. Was it the favorable strategy? Not always. But this game, it looks like it's going to be the only strategy for Glacial Commando.
Yeah, and currently at this time now, though, we see Nyla there with that pickaxe. As we take a look at the mini-map here, Titan Duff will be recalling in the mid lane, hovering near Derek, though, as we see Technics pathing towards bot once again. They might be looking for a redemption gank here. We'll see. But there is a ward now in the tribe. Oh, and they're going to clear out that ward. Make sure that, Glacial Commando cannot spot out the Amumu when he wants to have that gank. And Ocean Drake currently just sitting in its lonesome, waiting for someone to come pick it up.
It's up for grabs right now. It is one of the better early game Drakes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Especially because it can keep your sustainability in lane for so long. But we haven't really seen a whole lot of pressure. Of course, we have Technics here in the bot lane. If they can find the right play, they could claim the spoils of that Ocean Dragon. But they've been spending a lot of times, Technics, just kind of hovering these lanes and not finding any play they want to make.
Yeah, Technics at this point should just either go ahead and back or rush to get 6, because that's when Amumu really comes online, right?
Yes.
However,
they're still out CSing the hell out of Titan Duff despite the 2 assists, despite everything that's happened. We haven't seen Sejuani do any extra ganks than Technics here.
Indeed.
But here it comes.
I need water going in with the headbutt pulverize. Rix Arya will flash away, as well as the Abysmal Voyage. Sordid Dagger, A-OK. And a decent gank from the DZG side, but not successful.
They blew all their CC before Tahm Kench ran away, and because of that, he was just able to hop out. It's just a little bit of miscommunication there. It happens. It's just, it feels like they have the right ideas here on DZG, but the executions have not been in their favor. And that was an interesting flash coming from Spread. Still gonna get caught here. Ooh.
What?
That was
very preemptive.
Wow. It was interesting.
maybe they did not mean to, but yeah, now Summoner Spell down here for the top laner of DZG. So if I was Glacial Commando, I would definitely be telling my jungler, hey, you have 5 minutes. Come up here at some point and like help me punish this Alawi, because this would probably be one of our not only chances, but one of the few chances we get to punish her with no flash.
It is still scary trying to punish Brendan's cheeks though, because you don't have Ignite, you can't burn them cheeks, you don't have Grievous Wound for them cheeks, you don't have any spiky Bramble Vest for them cheeks, so no bleeding is going to be caused against
you got
cheeks.
shotgun knees and you got a lady on a big old boar.
You do have a bigger boar. You do have a bigger boar. That is one thing you have. Of course, tentacles. I mean, like, people can get tripped up. They can get caught staring into those scary tentacles from the tentacle lady. Oh, what am I saying? What am I even saying anymore?
Oh my god.
Don't fire me, Bully.
Bully's definitely gonna fire you. But you know what? Let's take a look at the gold right now while we have some downtime once again. Let's see where this gold is distributed here. What do you think so far, Romeo?
Well, you're looking across the map here. It is pretty even. Of course, the only big gold gap we're going to see is between Tahm Kench and Alistar, about 1,000 gold gap between the supports. It does come off 2 kills, so it's not a whole lot to do with the support item.
Oh,
there's
look
not
at
going to
that
be too much
Nyla gold,
early
though.
vision from Tahm. Nyla is sizably pulling ahead. Of course, 500 is about a component, but it's nothing crazy serious.
Bandage Toss connects once again. Technics flashes preemptively, but gets the ultimate onto Kryptonic Killer as well. Titan Duff will have to dash away. The Malzahar now on his own. Will the Sejuani be able to assist? They're chasing Bandage Toss, connects flash from the Malzahar, and the Glacial Commando mid laner will be a-okay for the time being.
It's a 2-for-1 flash trade. It's a good play from DZG. They rotated quite well on that play. But once again, it feels like a really good setup that just you didn't get as much as you want out of it. And I feel like that's been a consistent theme so far for DZG Elysium in Game 2. The right mindset, but the execution just isn't as good as it could be just yet. Will that change as we get to the mid to late game? If you're DZG, you're hoping so. If not, and you're Glacial, you need to keep capitalizing on these executions not being the way that they want them to.
Absolutely, and they have been so far. So let's see how else Glacial Commandos will look to further accelerate their lead here. So we see Kryptonic Killer shoving in this mid lane. Sordid Dagger now rotating as well. And they did get the Rift Hero there. Titan Duff having that summon, and he's just going to use it right now. Oh okay.
It is accelerating.
Yeah.
However, it looks like it's going to be split between a lot of people here.
As I Need Water went in. Sordid Dagger on the retreat, and the Apotheosis comes through, gets 2. That's the jungler down of DZG. And now Derek and the Alistar on the retreat here. Glacial Commandos. Okay. Hey, you know what? They might listen to this.
They are definitely starting the stacking of kills.
Spread them cheeks is definitely...
He went for a ride.
Never mind. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say.
Oh,
we're just gonna
you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk how he just obliterated them cheeks.
You were just gonna move on.
you ever see that Metal Gear Solid thing on YouTube where Solid Snake he's trying to sneak away?
Hold that thought though, as DZG Derek was looking for the engage here. Kryptonic Killer has locked him down with the Maleficent Visions, and it will be a kamikaze 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
That is a beautiful technique. It worked out well, and that kill on Malzahar is going to go just as far as it will as Tristan in a mid lane matchup like that. They both have their mythics. They're both coming back to lane with sizable amounts of gold, still very even with each other. Top lane, though, we've seen that Urgot get that kill onto Alawi. That's going to give Urgot a little bit of a lead there. Can they maintain it is going to be the question, especially as Alawi approaches that Divine Center.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. There's a Mumu there.
Let your invasive thoughts win.
They were thinking about it. They were definitely thinking about it. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, never mind. What was I gonna say? Sorry. Drake is spawning in about 30 seconds here. We see both junglers hovering around. Look at the vision that Glacial Commando has in that river. Wow. It is lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, there is so much vision coming from Glacial Command, and they've had every objective on the map so far. They got first Herald, they got first Dragon. This next Dragon's going to be that Cloud Drake. If they can contain it, there should be a good soul on board for them, as long as it's not something silly like the Temtech Drake. We still have something like Inferno Dragon up. We have Mountain Soul that can also be a prerogative.
Here we go again. Fear Beyond Death, but spread them cheeks using that ultimate there. And this time, the cheeks will not be spread. They will instead lay their waste onto the Urgot, as now Technics and the rest of DZG find one, find two. Rex Aria. Oh, actually, find only one, as Rex Aria swallowed the Sejuani. Now on the retreat here. Was locked up. One more shutdown coming through for Derek, and a well-coordinated play here from DZG Elysium. They have been down, but they are not out the fight.
It's phenomenal across the map there. They get the kill back on Alawi because, you know, Alawi pulls your soul, and then you just win every fight, regardless if you're down. And across the map, that was genuinely a really good wombo combo. You have the Curse of the Sad Mummies right inside of the Mega Inferno Bomb to just do massive amounts of damage. And then the majority of the kills all found their way onto the Tristana explosive charge.
Tightened up. Why would you use your dash that early, buddy? Apotheosis flashes in, or Nightmare flashes in for the Apotheosis, but does not connect. And she will be taken out. Tightened up next on the menu. And Glacial Commando, all your goodwill we give you. You're now throwing it away. Rex Aria is here to help Kryptonic Killer, though. He's looking for one. Will get Yamumu with the Maleficent Visions there. Photography Raptor next on the menu. Rex Aria lick. Air triple kill for the Malzahar. And Glacial Commandos back on the board, keeping this game somewhat close. They are still about 1.5k gold behind, though. How?
Just like that, though, the mid laners are back neck and neck. We see Tristana pull away. Then we see Malzahar come back, get a ton of kills. Dragons are evened up here. Of course, it's going to be that Hextech Dragon that's coming across the map. That's a very good soul if either team can claim it. But the way things are going, I don't foresee us going long enough for a soul. This has been a very bloody match. And bloody matches, this game's looking like it could wrap up around that 30-minute mark.
Absolutely. But, you know, what I want to say now is I don't know for sure yet who's going to win this, because as of right now, if you asked me pre-15, I would have said Glacial Commandos. But DZG has made a comeback somewhat and even out the game. Actually, they are now in the lead if you go based off gold, right? Because gold is everything depending on the items you have. So, or if you expect it or not.
Especially a game like this where it's just been a ton of fighting, that gold matters so much more when you're constantly taking these fights.
Yep.
If you're in a bloodbath, you need as many items as you can get your hands on. And the thing with DZG is, although they've come out with a kill less, almost all their lanes are winning inside of that CS department. And now someone like Spread Them Cheeks, who was able to even up their gold lead in that top side, is scaled enough where they're just going to constantly be punishing Atomic Rider. So while there's a 44 breaking onto the map for DZG, that's a positive thing, because your Alawi's always going to be winning that side lane.
Derek looking for the engage on Kryptonic Killer here, chunking him out quite a bit. Kryptonic, you have to be careful, because that rocket jump will be off cooldown pretty soon as the ultimate from Sejuani connects onto the Ziggs, and that is a dead Yordle.
It's a very good pick coming out from Glacial Commando there. They've seen that Ziggs be all by himself inside of that mid lane. Like an Akon Son, he was feeling so lonely, and he's passed away to the Nether Realm. That still leaves a 1.3 thousand gold in the favor of DZG. They were able to claim that first turret in the bot lane. They're now looking for that Rift Herald. If they claim this Rift Herald, they could do a great job at opening up this map.
Tightened up, dashing forward there, that Arctic Assault. I don't like how carelessly he's using that that ability. I'm gonna be real, because it's like a 13-second cooldown, so you got to be careful with that, because sometimes if you dash too quickly, you're gonna find yourself in a very precarious situation. So Sordid Dagger here will dash away the explosive charge. Not gonna take out the Nyla, but yeah, that's why we don't back in the middle of lane, guys.
Oh, but it's fun. I don't have to get my steps up. My Fitbit wasn't working. And there's a ton of reasons you would back in the middle of a lane. But of course, greediness is going to bite them. They're going to lose that mid turret. We could see a second crash here. There's not a whole lot they can do to defend it.
Yeah, Nyla is not here. They have the Malzahar, though, as Rick's Arya will dash forward. But nothing will come of it at this time. DZG just going to clear out these waves. And both top laners still playing top island at almost 20 minutes into the game here. So what can you do?
What can I say except we're fighting?
Wow. Fun.
Atomic Rider found their way right back into the loving arms of Spread Them Cheeks, has claimed those cheeks once again for his own. It is,
you could say the ride was pretty atomic, eh? Bully's gonna fire, but Bully's never letting me cast again. This is my first and only cast in BOL. He was like, "Yeah, your audition is over, redacted. Sorry."
Well, Sword's audition is about to be over as he gets sent to the gray screen from DZG Derek once again. Big bounties on these mid laners if they can be claimed by someone like Nyla or someone like Ziggs.
For sure. And at this time, the Cloud Drake will be spawning in about 20 seconds here. DZG currently having priority over this area, getting their vision down so that way there are no surprises. Even taking out the blast cones there. So
Blast cone lives matter.
So
that is my firm opinion.
There is no escape for Glacial Commando series. We do have a pause. Looks like Kryptonic Killer is having some internet issues. So while we have this bit of reprieve, Romeo, I'll let you go ahead and tell me about the game state right now and what both teams can do to make it in their favor.
Well, Glacial Command right now has escaped having to fight this dragon for some time with this pause. I think it's a very strategic pause, so you can plan how you're going to survive the death of your beloved Blast Cone. But right now in the game states, looking at it, it's still very even. It's still anyone's game. The second dragon going to be spawning, it does look pretty well DZG favored, especially with Titan Def going to the top side of the map. We could see maybe some punishment happen on that Alawi, but you have to be scared because, of course, that Test of Faith is available for Spread Them Cheeks, and you're going to 2v1 an Alawi. That ability either needs to be down or you need Heal Cut, which they just don't have. We also see the Hull Breaker started on Alawi right now, so once that's built, I would be very scared if I'm Glacial Command and we don't have a sizable gold lead. Across the rest of the map, though, you're really looking to Tristana and Malzahar in a lot of these fights, alongside maybe that Nyla and Amumu, who have been being these major focuses of impacts. We've seen some beautiful Curse of the Sad Mummies with the Inferno Bombs, but this Tristana has been doing a great job at rocket jumping in, explosive charging, and finishing people off one by one. On the other side, if this Malzahar can laser beam this Tristana when they jump in, if they can find the right moment to stun them up and have the rest of Glacial Command dive on top of them, that's going to be how Glacial wins a fight. If they can find a way to take out the Tristana, they're going to win that fight 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, just have to make sure it happens. And before Tristana gets QSS.
Yes, the second they get QSS. But it is an expensive item to buy. When you're in such a close neck-and-neck race against that Malzahar, it's hard to warrant buying that QSS just yet.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, as of right now, Derek hasn't really been punished as much by the Kryptonic Killer there with that Nether Grass. So, you know, if it happens like 3 or 4 more times, then you might really be like, all right, you know what? I'm tired of this guy always immobilizing me. Let me go ahead and buy that QSS. But yeah, like you said, as of right now, doesn't really have a need to. And it looks like we actually will be resuming in 0 seconds here. Actually, the loading screen lied to me. But yeah, once it resumes, we'll be back in. So looking at the mini map here, Romeo, we do see DZG once again posturing around that Cloud Drake here, and Glacial Commandos are pretty much just coming out of their base. Do you think we will see a Drake fight?
No, I think it does look like it's just going to be conceded to DZG here. There's not a whole lot they can do to contest it. What I would be interested, though, to see Glacial Command do in terms of trying to contest DZG is I'd kind of like to see the Urgot and Malzahar swap these lane assignments. We've been seeing this Tristana bully Malzahar. We've been seeing this Urgot get kind of in an even fight with Alawi, but Alawi, the more items they get, the harder it's going to be.
Spread them
if
cheeks.
we see a bit of a flip, I think the Malzahar would stand a little bit better against this Alawi.
As their ultimate there from the Alawi, sword dagger on the retreat here. They thought they could fight here, but they were wrong. Their faith has been tested. The Cheeks will not be dissuaded from their lane, and has told them to get back.
Dutch Vanderlyn would be very proud of Spread Them Cheeks right now. They got a little bit of a gold. They got a distraction. Now they just got to make their way to Tahiti and they'll be fine.
Okay, Atomic Rider seems to be the only one who can take it to the Cheeks here. But he too will also be on the retreat just for the time being. Laying down a bit of harass though. He's A-okay. But the Cheeks now currently about half their health bar here. And we take a look across the rest of the map. I need water, please. Getting some vision, clearing vision out. Sorted Dagger and Rick's Aria chilling in the mid lane. And yeah, Derek and Kryptonic Killer in the bot lane. You know what? You're right. This is actually kind of boring now. Like, switch it up. Mid and top, swap lanes.
It is going to get slow here. I think these teams are going to start very heavily playing around these objectives. But I think that objective style of gameplay has been favoring DZG. We've been seeing them win a lot of those objective fights. And if we don't see that Malzahar go after the Alawi, I'm not confident that once that Hullbreaker is brought out, Urgot has anything they can really do to Spread Them Cheeks. We've already seen the 2v1 go at Alawi without the Hullbreaker and them stand scot-fine. They have just found their footing. They're chilling in that lane, having a great time. And Atomic Rider's only going to fall off more and more. Urgot's not a champion that's going to fare well once we start getting to the 25-30 minute mark, especially if they keep these lane assignments.
Yeah, for sure. And at this time, Urgot and the rest. Oh, hold that thought. And here we go. Nethergrass into the rocket jump. Kryptonic Killer will flash away, though, as the explosive charge also chunked him out. But now it's a game of who can outplay who. And Derek's just like, you know what? I'm not even going to try.
No, he wasn't able to get his explosive charge to the full stacks as quickly as he would have wanted to before bumping that Malzahar away. That Nethergrass did a ton of damage. It was really well set up by Kryptonic. However, it was Kryptonic's flash that got burned, and DZG was able to keep everything up. So, despite the damage...
Here we go. Leap of Faith coming out. Atomic Rider will have to get off the ride because the Cheeks will not be spread once again. As Technic flashes and gets the stun onto 3, the explosive, the bomb comes through, chunks out more as well. Sorted Dagger taking out DZG. Find another. The only one left is Titan Duff, who barely escapes with a sliver of health. That is going to be a Baron for DZG. Wow.
Look, Amumu might not have any friends, but clearly he has the biggest balls in the Summoner Rift because that flash just won their team a Baron fight. A great Curse of Sad Mummy. Who's ever calmed him to just flash in and use it. Great call by them to see that spotted out and just all hopping for the play. That was a really... Whereas early in this game, we were seeing plays that should be good, executed poorly. That's a play that should have went horrible for them, but because of their communication, because of their ability to be on the same page and all commit to it right away, the execution was perfect, and now they've started pulling away in this game.
Absolutely, and that Mega Inferno Bomb coming through, chunking out 2 members of Glacial Commandos as well, further helped them get those takedowns. Titan Duff would have been the third one, barely lived. Like, I actually don't know. Those resistances must have really helped. But now, let's see how DZG will use their Baron buff here. Will Spread Them Cheeks finally get this turret in the top lane? So that way they can roam around.
He also didn't opt for the Hullbreaker. He opted for the Sterex Gauge, which I would have preferred the Hullbreaker this game with the way it's been going. You've been on an island for 23 minutes. Why are we buying Sterex Gauge?
So that way the Cheeks have a cushion.
I still can't believe that Sandy from SpongeBob is called Sandy Cheeks. I guess like the Sterex Gauge is kind of like the astronaut uniform for Alawi here.
Exactly, and now Derek in a very awkward situation here. Nethergrass coming through as Atomic Rider and Kryptonic Killer take out Spread Them Cheeks. Derek actually able to live. We didn't see how, but it happened off camera, but it doesn't matter as DZG is now on the mid lane here. We'll be able to take out the turret, but now stuck between a 4 members of Glacial Commando here. Photography Raptor will flash away the stun onto 3. Sorted already taken out from the bomb. Photography Raptor lives. And now a Moo in the belly of the catfish. Kryptonic Killer gets the shutdown onto the DZG jungler, but the main damage dealer, Photography Raptor, is still alive, and he's looking for more flicks to take.
And they're going to keep pursuing it. The explosive charge is on the Urgot. I don't think they realize how strong Photography Raptor is this late into the game, because that second that Inferno Bomb went off, like, it looked like Technics was making a sacrifice play, and they're like, wait a minute, we do damage. We do a lot of damage. And just like that, it's like when you're in game, right? You're seeing it's 11 kills to 12. But what we're seeing, they're 4K gold up. They have a ton of towers on them. They're about to get their 3rd dragon. They have the gold advantage right now, and it's quite showing.
Yep, absolutely. And for Glacial Commando, okay, so at this point, what are we looking for here? Is it just picks? Did I lose Romeo? I think I lost him, so...
You did.
Oh, okay.
I was lost in space for half a second there.
No worries. Until he comes back, I will just continue casting. Oh, wait, is that you?
Yes, I that is me. I am back. I'm no longer lost in space. I put on the astronaut suit. I bought Steric's Gauge. It's fine.
Oh, my fault. Did you hear my question then?
I did not.
Oh, I was saying, what should Glacial Commander look to try and do here right now to get back into this game?
You gotta stop the bleeding. You got Hextech Soul up in 4 minutes. You just kind of have to cut off the bleeding here and really stop them from getting that soul. As they're gonna try to look for something here, but this is a rough spot. This is not how you cut off the bleeding.
Here, stun onto 2, Mega Inferno Bomb. Ergot, first one to be chunked out. He has been chomped up by Rick's Arya here, but it's not enough. The Catfish next on the menu as well, and DZG fine too. Alistar ringing that bell there as we see DZG marching down the mid lane. What will the Commandos do? Will they just go stealth and hide in their base?
The inhib is looking up for grabs here. It is going to be a 3v3 as we have a Lawi on the side lane, as well as Technics for some reason. I'm not a big fan of Technics leaving to push that top lane. I think a 4-1 would have been fine here. But it does look like they're trying to set up, steal everything, and get ready for that Baron. If you're DZG, you're looking to end on this next Baron. So for Glacial, they need to find somebody standing. Whether they try to find the pick on the Alawi and then rush 5v4 for that Baron, we'll have to see. But they need to find a pick before this Baron, because they're not going to be able to take a straight 4v4 or 5v5.
Absolutely not. But the question is, do you even want to fight Alawi, even if you have 3 members? As the Catfish once again knocked up, will be locked in. And here's Technics as well. The damage dealers on their way, because it's just a bunch of tanks. Photography Raptor can't get into the fight, but is throwing the bombs across the walls there. We see Urgot here chomping up 1 Atomic Riser, taking out the jungler of DZG, but spread them cheeks now here as well. Tightened up on the retreat. Alawi will not be caught up in the apotheosis, but Nyla dashes forward anyway. Spread them cheeks taken out. Now DZG Derek and I Need Water please on the retreat. Will they be able to turn this fight? They elect not to. Oh, the cow can't take the gate and becomes a stake. Glacial Commando find 3 and only lose 1.
Yeah, just like that, Glacial Commando able to turn something towards their side. I do think that was wildly misplayed in some ways from DZG. I think rotating the Alawi there, once you start losing that fight, I mean, if Alawi stays in that sideline, you're going to get that T3. You might get an inhib. At least you're drawing pressure away. They opted in for a pick, but I think DZG is getting very quick to pull that trigger. And although that's helped them in a lot of fights, there was exactly the counterplay we needed to see from Glacial to keep this game going. They have priority on this Baron here. I'm wondering what's going to happen. They have TP up from Malphite.
Wow. We are just going for an early Baron here. Sordid Dagger will cleanse the Amumu ultimate. Teleport coming in. Kryptonic Killer is now here. I think this might just be the fight that decides the game. Glacial Commando has already found the jungler here. Technics on the retreat. Rick's Arya now pressing forward very aggressively here. Cannot take the gap. I believe it was on cooldown more than likely, as the Gray Shield coming through, giving that Catfish a bit more space to live. What will DZG do now?
You've traded junglers. That means Baron's probably going to be okay for a bit. What you have to be worried about for Glacial right now is that Alawi's on that side lane. When a Moon's going to spawn, they're going to be collapsing into that T3 turret. And you have to decide, are we going to 5v4 this Baron, or do we have to leave someone against Alawi in case they try to end the game?
Urgot, Satchel Charge takes out the minions. Rocket Jump from the Tristana. Explosive Charge exhaust as well. Sworded Dagger went in. No, he cannot get out. Looking to get something back. Will not be able to. And why is the Nyla fighting not with the Sejuani and Tom Kench? Rick's Arya next on the menu here. And it looks like DZG at this point, it's their game to lose.
Yeah, I think we're looking at the closing chapter here. Baron's going to be taken. Alawi's just taking that inhib. All they have to do, you send Alawi, either you can leave them in bot lane if you want, or if you want to be really safe about it, send Alawi top, send the other ones mid, and close it out with your Baron. It was a bit of a misplay in that top lane. More picks came out, and now Kryptonic might even be in a rough spot. They do find Alistar, but I fear that won't be enough to keep DZG from just rolling through what's left of Glacial's base.
Kryptonic
it appears
Killer,
the ice caps are
you
melting.
are on the wrong side of the map, bucko, as the Malzahar will not escape. Titan Dove did the best they can. Oh, a Momo ultimate onto 3. Big Inferno Bomb takes or helps take out the last 2, and DZG will get this Hextech Soul here. Rick's Arya and Sworded Dagger looking to do something?
Die? Is that it's rough, right? You have to try to do something, but at this point, as soon as that Baron play kind of went completely on DZG's side, that was the final nail in the coffin of Glacial Commando. Unless 5 people started running to the base, it was going to be over from there. But it was a great match between these two teams. DZG, of course, going to be able to pick up the series here, though. 2-0.
Yeah, great match. Great.
It was an interesting match, at the very least. Very bloody. We seen 40 kills in 30 minutes. So that's what, like 1.4 kills a minute? But what was really interesting about this game was to see Glacial play such a good early game off poor executions from DZG. But I feel like there came a point in that match where DZG's poor executions became very well executed plays. And the second they were able to start executing the plays they wanted to make properly, because the entire game, their ideas were great, just the micro of them, not as much. But as we got late into that game, everything was just clean from DZG for the most part. Were they quick to pull the trigger at some points? Yes, which is why it took a little bit longer to close out the game. But overall, they were still able to close it out with a pretty convincing fashion.
Yeah, absolutely, they did. And you know, I just want to say for Glacial Commandos, I do want to give them a bit of kudos here for having a pretty decent early game. I think we kind of got lost in the mid game and obviously in the late game on what our identity was as a team. So for them, I think you just obviously need to go back. I wouldn't even watch game 1, just throw it out. But game 2, you can definitely take some lessons from that and then use that to improve for next time. But I did ask in the chat because I'm not sure. Do you guys do interviews here or no? Okay,
I think
sorry.
The other
I wasn't
thing,
sure.
Before we go ahead and close out the stream, the other thing I think that you definitely need to look at if you're Glacial is compositions. We drafted a comp here that was focused on Nyla and proceeded to not really give Nyla a chance to play the game. They got the 2 early kills in that bot lane, but after that, there was almost no pressure from Sejuani. Meanwhile, DZG said, okay, Technics, go bot. Technics, go bot. Technics, go bot. If that Nyla gets ahead, we lose. Go bot, go bot, go bot.
He kept going bot. They both should have just been a bot fiasco.
Exactly. And what should have happened where we see both junglers fighting to make sure Nyla either gets ahead or doesn't get ahead, ended up being Technics making sure Nyla doesn't get ahead, and Sejuani be like, I'm going to go mid for a bit, I'm going to go top for a bit, then I'll come back bot. But now it's too late. We've lost that lead that we needed to maintain because the gold went to Tom Kench, unfortunately. But even if it didn't, by foregoing your jungler there, sure, even if your Nyla has 2 kills, it's still going to be a 3v2 in that bot lane.
Exactly.
You need that Sejuani to be running down there and making sure that if they're gonna win, if they're gonna win, that Nyla needs to be ahead, or hell is going to be burning in the base of Glacial, and that's exactly what happened. They all melted away.
Exactly, and spread them cheeks. Let the hellfire, rain. So what can you do? But for Glacial Commandos, once again, like we said, just review game 2, learn what you can, and come back stronger next week. For DZG Elysium, you guys played pretty well as well. There was, once again, some messiness that you can clean up for sure, but overall, pretty well done from them. At least in terms of drafting, they've pretty much had a pretty good identity for both of their drafts in both games. So they just need to definitely clean up some execution, and I think they should be good to go heading forward. Any last words from you, Romeo, before we end the stream?
I'm interested to see where this goes. I know last season DZG made a pretty wild run throughout Blue Water Gold. Will they be able to do it again? If tonight's any indication, as long as they can play like they did in that second half of game 2, I wouldn't be surprised.
Alrighty then, you heard it here from Romeo. Stay tuned for more BOL tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be signing off here for the rest of the night. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed the show. I am Redacted, and that's Romeo. Thank you to our producer / colorcaster from Game 1, Dory K, as well. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. Peace.